7:35 right now. PIX11 is your local election headquarters. Last night, this guy hosted the first official debate of the New York election season between the two Democratic candidates running to become New York City's next comptroller.
I have the qualifications, but right now you need the guts. You need someone who's got the guts to stand up to the next mayor, to Donald Trump.
I have taken on this mayor and the previous mayor to win for parks, for public health, for tenants. As comptroller, I will take on Donald Trump, and I will be fiercely independent of whoever the next mayor is so that we can win to make New York City more affordable, safer for all.
We need a fighter in this moment. Donald Trump is coming for us. New York City is in his crosshairs, and meanwhile, the city is spiraling out of reach for working people.
I have stood up to Eric Adams again and again and again. I've taken him on COVID, on his rhetoric on migrants, on his cuts to parks. I've called him out for his corruption.
And that was maybe the most heated moment about Eric Adams, right? City Councilman Justin Brannan, Manhattan Borough President Mark Levine facing off in a race where many voters still remain undecided. If you look at the chunk, it's 29%. So joining us this morning to give us his take on who came out ahead is political analyst and professor at the University of Mount St. Vincent, J.C. Polanco. So great to have you with us for today, during the pre-show yesterday. Yeah. J.C., I know you're working around the clock with us.
I love being here. Thank you so much for having me. Hey, and great job yesterday moderating.
Thank you.
Yeah, you did a great job.
You and Henry did a great job, man. That was to try to make something policy wonky sexy is tough.
It is.
You did a great job.
It is. You know, it's important though, and that's the thing. And you know, it's thank you very much.
Policy
As I said
wonky.
yesterday, it wasn't
like
just sexy because Henry and I were moderating. The 29% undecided voters. That's a big number right now because the mayor's race, it's about 4% undecided. Why do you think that number is so large? And do you think that either one of them really were able to pull some of those to their corner last night?
You know, last night was an important moment for there to be some daylight. I think the numbers are what they are today because the comptroller is not the marquee race. It's just not. All the attention is up on the mayor's race. These other candidates are not getting that much attention. And it's even worse when you get to the city council level. At that point, if you're still in the voting booth by that time, you know, you get a few hundred people voting and you're going to win by a small margin. So the comptroller and public advocate race always has these large undecideds. And last night was an opportunity for them to show the city a couple of things. First, that they're eminently qualified. And I think you and Henry pointed that out yesterday. They demonstrated it to the city. These are two competent, capable individuals that could be comptroller on day one. So it really became a debate about personalities.
Yeah.
On the Mark Levine side, the Manhattan Borough President, you see a polyglot. Try spelling that, Dan. A polyglot.
Eclair is not in that one, Dan.
Yeah.
Speaks 5 different languages, knows the city in and out, was a city council member, but he tends to be more of the, you know, mainstream Democrat, focusing on a very I would say professorial-like tactic when it comes to the debate. And with Justin Brannan, you get a punk rocker that's ready to hit you with that guitar.
Yeah.
And you saw him fighting yesterday. And there's an appetite among Democrats in New York City for a fighter. And we saw the three men that were looming the whole night. They were there. And we saw Eric Adams, Donald Trump, and Elon Musk were in the room with you the entire time. So who could hit those three guys the hardest was going to be the issue last night. I think we saw that.
I mean, I don't think there were any outstanding differences, anything really significant between the two of them. But I'm curious how you felt that Mark Levine did against Brannan's jabs. I mean, the main one being like, you never asked for Mayor Adams to resign, but I did.
Yeah, but you're not going to see that from a mainstream Democrat. Look, Mark Levine is that George Latimer-like candidate. Remember how George Latimer was in your studio?
Yeah.
Very policy wonky again, knows the issues in and out, very detail-oriented, team player. So he's not going to ask you to resign. He will point out some of the issues that you have. But one of the things that Mark Levine said was, we'll let the city figure it out. The voters are going to figure it out. Very different from Justin Brannan, who said, you got to go, man. You got to go, he told the mayor. But I think that Mark Levine handled that pretty interestingly. He said, hey, you're the one who asked for the endorsement, not me. You know, so I think that was another opportunity for a little daylight. We saw Mark Levine take out the sword a little bit in that moment where he said, not only did you accept the endorsement, you endorsed the guy. At least I'm the one pointing out where the administration, I believe he says, was corrupt.
So here's the thing,
I think he did his very best in that case.
So here's the thing. You described Justin Brannan as a punk rocker, right? He's got the tattooed sleeves, and you expect him, you said he's holding his guitar. But did he? I mean, because if you talk to some folks this morning, they're saying they expected more from him on the attack level of Mark Levine. Because Mark Levine is so ahead, that maybe he should have been a little bit more on the offense and not so coy in his insults about not standing up to Eric Adams or Donald Trump.
You know, Justin Brannan had a job to do. He's the committee chair, the finance committee chair, which is a huge committee in New York City. I think he wanted to introduce himself to the voters yesterday to show everyone, hey, I am a committee chair of probably the most important committee on the city council. I am competent. I am capable. I've won in a purple district out in Brooklyn, and I can fight. And I think that's what his intention was yesterday. He wasn't focused so much on trying to knock Mark Levine out of the race, but focus on introducing himself to the voters with your questions, Dan, and letting everyone know that he was competent. I think there were ample opportunities, but the truth is this. There were so many similarities.
Yeah.
Hearing a lot of I agree.
That's what it is.
I agree.
It's
Yeah.
tough. It becomes a question about personalities at this point. They both want to freeze the rent, even on small landlords, for at least a year. You got that out of them yesterday. They both don't like Eric Adams or Donald Trump or Elon Musk. That was clear. They both talked about universal daycare. There is some daylight. For example, Mark Levine says he wants there to be a $2 billion reserve in the city budget, and that's something that. But then you get into the minutia, and that's when voters are just tuned off and they want to see who do I relate to personality-wise. This is where endorsements comes in.
Yeah.
Justin Brannan picked the endorsement of the Working Families Party. And then you have Mark Levine picked up 50 pastors yesterday, and Congressman George Latimer. So he's leading in the race, has a money advantage. There's a 2-to-1 endorsement on when you check out the websites. It's all about personalities going down to the last couple of weeks before early voting.
Well, what do you think is going to happen then? And because they were so cordial, do you think anything is going to change after last night's debate? Are they going to handle their campaign a little bit differently?
We're going to see the commercials come out like crazy.
Yeah.
Every time somebody watches a show, it's going to be commercials after commercial. And I think this is where the candidates are going to attack each other. Not on stage with Dan and Henry. It's going to be all about the commercials and how, maybe they're going to get some dirt back from 30 years ago. They're going to come and throw some of that dirt for people to try to do that, what we call contrast media, right? So we're going to be able to see it then. But, at this point, it's all about let's focus until we get every single vote we can. And Mark Levine is trying to stay the course. But one thing we saw last night was when Dan and Henry asked about former Governor Andrew Cuomo. They had their guns out for Eric Adams, Donald Trump, and Elon Musk.
Yeah,
but when it came to Andrew Cuomo, you know what? I'm not going to make any endorsements. We're going to.
And the question wasn't about endorsements. The question was about how would you work with a Mayor Cuomo? It wasn't about endorsing.
No, Dan. What about this? Is there any issue that you want to talk about that what's the elephant in the room with former Governor Andrew Cuomo? Oh, there's so many issues. I don't want to get into those issues. So I think they both see those poll numbers, and they both want to make sure that if you are voting for Andrew Cuomo above this race, please stay on the line and vote for me as your number one. They didn't want to offend any of those Andrew Cuomo voters for sure.
Got to leave it there. JC, always great to have you. Thank you for being here yesterday and this morning. Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. And here's an important reminder, everybody. Early voting for the primaries begins on June 14th, runs through the 22nd. Primary election day is Tuesday, June 24th. We have another important debate next week with the Public Advocate on Thursday night. And you can tune in to PIX on Politics tonight at 6:30 p.m. We're going to be talking more about this debate with our reporter roundtable. Also going one-on-one with Fabian Levy. He's the Deputy Mayor of Communications. Going to find out why Mayor Adams was in Las Vegas this week talking crypto and what he wants to bring to New York City. That's tonight on PIX on Politics at 6:30.